up, everyone? Welcome to the Limp is on Talk Show. I will be your host for this episode, and I am Armani.
I will also be a host for this episode. My name is Jeremy.
And I am Johnnie. I'm not a host. I'm just a guest.
There you go. Okay. All right, well, we just want to thank you guys for tuning back in. We know it's been a while since we've been on here. We thank you so much for all the appreciation, all the love, the content, and the comments that we've been receiving. So we're just going to go ahead and get started right into the podcast. Oh, I forgot to introduce the topic. I think I should do that. Well, the topic for this episode is mental health. So what about mental health? What about the pros, the cons? Is mental health important? Is it something that you see is not a necessity? So let's go ahead and get into that. So, fellas, give me your opinion on mental health. How do you feel about it?
Okay. All right. I think it's a lot, especially these past 2 years. We have seen so much happen on the mental side. There are so many people who are really lost because of separation. People were already introverts. Mm-hmm. Some people have become introverts. And it's just really scary because mental health will take you so many places. And there are so many people, African Americans now, that are committing suicide because their mental health is not up to par. And I feel like it's dangerous and we got to do something about it, especially on our side. And this is across the board to all people, but I know me. I've been African American, I believe, all my life. And so I can talk about what I talk about as an African American, that I want our people to get the help that we need. We're scared to talk to people.
Yes.
And so
Why do you think that is the case, though?
it's trust. I don't trust you, so why would I tell you my business?
And I'm gonna come back to that, but I'm gonna let Jeremy say something first.
I feel like what mental health is like, it's just basically just like taking care of like another human, if that makes sense. It's really important. Like, let's say, let me change that up. All right. So like mental health is just it's your temple. Like
It's your
Come on, man.
it's your subconscious.
it's like
You're so famous. Boy. He's
This is
famous.
the first
everybody.
episode, y'all. He said that second
He's-
episode.
I think
Wait,
he's
wait,
just.
you just messed it up.
I don't care.
I think he's.
care.
I think
We
he's just
recorded.
educated.
I don't care. Cut that out.
I'm not cutting that out.
So
I
you
think
gonna
he's
keep
just
that in bet-
educated.
Exactly.
Famous. That's a stretch, but
He's what?
See how she
What
do-
you call him?
She said I'm
educated.
educated.
Educated?
But then she said famous, that's a stretch.
Yeah, she did. She's a hater.
Like she trying me. Like,
I
yo.
just play it, Jeremy.
But like it's really important that you take care of yourself mentally because you don't want to break down or like be messed up or be lost. So it's always good to take care of your mental health.
I agree with that. And to go back to something what Johnnie said, that African Americans, we don't trust people. And so that brings me to my next question. Do you think that's why Black people or the African American community won't go get help from like a therapist? We don't believe in therapy.
Yeah.
Why is that?
That weird stereotype.
Yeah, because it's I'm telling a stranger stuff about me, and who's to say the stranger is not going to go and spread it out to somebody else, even though they're not supposed to.
Yeah.
Supposed to be a client and what is it? Not the client.
I think it's called,
Confidentiality?
yeah.
Something like that. But it's like we should like I'm gonna go ahead and tell my story. Uh, when my parents got divorced when I was 6, and my sister didn't go through therapy, but I went through therapy. She was 11 years older than me, so she was a teenager.
11 years older than.
Yeah, she was. What was she? What? 11 years from 6.
17.
She was
Come
a
on.
teenager. Yeah.
Mental math. Come on. We're
I
talking
don't
about
do
mental
math.
health. Let's
I don't
do
do math. 1 plus 1 is 2.
Oh, Johnnie. I think we need to send Johnny back to first grade.
Yeah, maybe we need to
'Cause
have
he
a
said
topic
one,
on
he literally said 1
math.
plus 1 is.
And took a
2.
pause.
Yep.
Took a long pause. That's a
But
shame.
so there's a difference between me and her because she didn't have therapy, but I did. So I was able to cope with the divorce. And I guess they wanted me to go through therapy because I was still a child and she was about to be a young adult or whatever. But my therapy wasn't one-on-one. It was group therapy. So I was in there with a bunch of other kids. And to take it back, I probably didn't go to therapy until I was 10. So 6 is when they got divorced. I was 10 when I ended up in therapy. They call it family therapy. And so I'm sitting in there with a bunch of other 10-year-olds. And they started telling their story. I'm like, oh, y'all, look at y'all. And so I happened to start telling mine, and we had a good time or whatever. But it still boils down to that trust thing. I had to trust that lady with that information. Even though I'm young, I don't really know about trust like that.
It's called a non-disclosure agreement.
Supposed to be. Yeah, there you go. Look at y'all being smart and stuff.
We've been smart, man. Stop playing.
Yeah, you're famous. So
We've been there.
Johnny finna get hit with my phone.
yeah. So I'm just saying, I had to be able to trust her for her to get that information out of me. Or I guess my mom had to trust her because I didn't really know anything about trust like that. So my mom had to trust that lady to be able to hold that information because she didn't even tell my mom everything that I talked about in that. In
She's
therapy.
not supposed to.
Right.
Not supposed to.
So
But we scared to do it.
I can see why though.
Why?
Again, what you said, it does come with a level of trust, but also you don't want to tell somebody your problems and you don't know their own problems that they're going through. So it's a level of comfort. If you're going to go through therapy, I wouldn't even call it therapy right now. I'll just say mentored. Go have a mentor. Get somebody to be able to mentor you through the problems that you're going through. Get emotional management, learning how to read. Even I've been going through it myself, just being mentored for years now because I actually have been. So it's just catching up on things that you need to know about. So I don't want to say it's necessarily therapy, but I just think therapy is something that you really, really, really just have to have or have to need in order to work out a problem. Like, especially if you're going through a divorce, of course, therapy is something you guys can go to get help from that. But when it's just a problem that you're going through or you need help or something, I feel like mentor would be better because you know a person. That person can personally tell you. Like, y'all can have a relationship. Y'all can have a connection. Your mentor most likely is not a stranger. It's mostly somebody you know. So
Don't be the ones that hurt you.
I mean,
Don't
We'll
want.
get into that.
but
Okay.
listen, they may hurt you, but it's for the good.
Okay.
They're telling you stuff that you don't want to hear, but you need to hear to get over yourself. So it's just like, okay, even though I don't want to hear this right now, it's the best for me because although in the future, I'm not going to be stuck in the same place that I am in, or even worse than a place that I am in now. So I just look at it as if therapy is only a necessity when you really need help and you can't get out of a place like you've been stuck in. And before you even tell a therapist all your problems, you should build a relationship first.
Or you should tell yourself the problem. Because a lot of times we don't really admit to ourselves what we're dealing with.
True, but you got to look at it with that statement, I think of that as a mirror. So if I look at myself in the mirror and I'm telling myself the problems, it's just going to bounce back right at me because I'm looking at myself in the mirror. So therefore, when I'm
y'all gonna stop-
speaking,
y'all
it's
gonna-
not. It's getting out there, but it's getting out there and coming right back to me. Now, I do believe in affirming yourself. So do that. Then look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, hey, you look good today. Let's go out here. Let's have a good day. Affirm yourself in the mirror, but don't tell your problems to the mirror because then it's just going to bounce back right at you. And then you're going to look at yourself in a negative light instead of a positive light.
Put that in your bio. Put that in your bio.
Preach it.
Put that in your. I mean, the way I was raised, like with problems, I don't know if it was just me, but I always felt like, I think I got it from like my dad. Like I always try to be a man about it. I don't really try to be like because I feel like the more I cry about it, the more the problem's still gonna be there, or the more I still. Like the more the problem hurts me, and the more I just let it hurt me, it's going to keep hurting me. Like,
And we're going to come back to that later.
so so if I even went through a problem, you wouldn't tell because I'm coping with myself. I learned that at a very young age. Like, if there's nobody to tell, at least I can cope with myself and like learn how to adapt with certain situations. Look at my vocabulary. So like even at 17 years old, like nothing really can break me. Really, like I think the only thing that could really break me is like a death in the family. But besides that, nothing can really break me because of that structure that I already built at a young age.
So do you, like, I'm sorry to take over your question.
Yeah, because I had 2 more questions, but I'm going to let you go first in the well.
I just want to, so, like, do you hold on to if there's a problem, or you just somehow release it?
I'll release it or I'll take it as like a life lesson. So let's say if I had a relationship, then me and the girl broke up, or she did something to make us break up, I'm gonna just take it as, all right, that wasn't the one. Let's try again. Or take my time and be like, maybe being in a relationship right now isn't the
Thing
idea.
that I need.
Wow. There are a lot of people a lot of young people who don't think like that. They are really
It's
heartbroken.
Because it's because the way they built that relationship with that person. Like, let's say if you and that person went out for like like 2 years, then it just stops. Like that's gonna mess you. That's really gonna mess you up.
That is going to mess with your head a little bit.
Yeah, it's different from like a little 6-month relationship.
If you're fully in it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people say 50-50, but it's really 100-100. And a lot of people, one person might be on the side of doing everything, committed to that relationship, and the other person is kind of like playing with it. And then, so one person may be more hurt than the other.
Get your stuff together, people. Stop cheating.
Now, the only thought that I do challenge about that comment, Johnnie, was when you said...
I saw your face. I saw your face.
When you said it was 100-100, I challenge that. Or I disagree with
disagree.
it. Well, challenge, disagree.
You
same,
disagree.
Same thing. But I say
again.
it's 50-50.
Try her again.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Go
Stand
ahead.
up for me.
Go ahead, Marty.
We really gonna knock Johnnie upside his head after this, right?
Go ahead.
You need mental. Okay, but what I was saying is I think it's 50-50. If we're thinking mathematical wise, in a percentage, you can only go up to 100%. Now, there's 2 people in a relationship. That's why the split is going to be evenly divided among the 50-50. Now, what you do with that 50% is up to you. So if the woman in the relationship decides to be half the relationship, then hers is going to be 25-50. You know what I'm saying? You got to look at 50-50 as a whole, because then again, it does equal to 1. 50 divided by 50 is
Okay,
one.
I don't do all that math.
Yeah, but I'm saying what I'm saying is it's 50-50, but then again it's still whole. Like if the two
So you can only put up to 50% of the in the relationship.
No, not saying that when we say 50-50, it's not saying actually 50%. Both of y'all are going to give 100%, but the relationship is split in half. So both of y'all have to contribute both opponents to equal to 100%.
We're gonna agree to disagree. It's all
Okay,
good.
that's another conversation. Another day. But okay, so my next question that I have for y'all about mental health was.
What are y'all doing?
It was something
right
right there.
flying. We had to catch it. Okay. What was my question? Oh, okay. So, does mental health have a stigma about itself? Like, is mental health really? Is it really a thing?
Yeah.
Does it have? And what I mean by stigma, does it have a negative effect about it? How is it seen in the aspect of society in today's world?
I'm gonna go because Johnnie finna make me mad. I feel like with some people try to the outsiders will try to use other people's mental health like as an excuse. Oh, you're just lazy or you're just not motivated. But some people go through so much stuff that it gets to the point where they be like, I don't even feel like doing anything. I just feel like laying down or just feel like looking at the wall. Like people go through so much, and then especially if you an outsider looking in, you don't know what they're going through. You just see them not do anything. You could just be like, oh, they just lazy. Oh, they ain't doing nothing. They ain't got nothing to do with their life. People are mean, but like mental health definitely has that negative effect to where people try to change the story. They try to change your own story of what you're going through, and that's what I have to say.
It's negative in many ways. People make it negative about others, and they make it negative about themselves. If you are mentally ill, they have medication for it. They have medication for just about everything now because medicine is expensive, and somebody got to get paid. This is why that's why we go to the doctor. They don't prescribe us to actually get rid of this stuff. They prescribe us to get by. Like these symptoms and stuff is because they want you to keep coming to the doctor. Because if you stop going to the doctor, they stop getting paid. So they're not going to subscribe something to you to totally take that disease away from you.
Or
Johnnie on to something.
he's on to something.
Probably gonna get canceled for saying that, but
are there medications out there that can diagnose everything, that can cure everything?
Is there medication out there
that can literally cure every single disease that we do have right now? Regarding
cure it?
Yes, regarding mental health wise.
I don't think there's a medicine that can cure that. Like, is that
right?
Is that an illness? It's an illness, but
here's the thing.
Wait.
Okay, maybe we just need to change this conversation.
I feel
no,
like it just
because
eases the pain.
is it a?
What is the thing? Mental health? Is mental health?
It's mental health.
Yes, mental health is an illness. You can be physically,
but you can't be cured from it.
You can be physically and mentally sick because of mental health.
Oh, okay. But there's no cure of it. You could be prescribed something to calm your mind.
I'll say it depends on how severe it is. If that makes sense. It depends on how severe it is.
It's just like the child that's got ADHD. They're prescribed Ritalin?
Yes.
To calm them down, but it's not going to take the ADHD away from them.
Exactly.
It just gonna
That means it's not gonna be cured. It's just gonna still be stuck with you. But there can be certain points where you have a trigger point. It's just like having seizures or epilepsy. They have medicine to help you cope with it, but they don't have medicine to actually cure the disease or to cure the problem. So you can have epilepsy all you want to, and you may not have had seizures for years. But as soon as you have a trigger point, it all snaps. And then you can go back to having seizures on a day-to-day basis or back to regular. So it's like a graph. It's like it's an equilibrium graph. So basically, you can have a constant state, but then when something falls down, then you're back into that negative troll. Like it's gonna constantly getting worse. So I just think some things, especially with mental health, it can't be cured, but it can. There are ways. There are ways to help being coped with, like depression. You can't cure depression, but you can most definitely help it calm down or even help you get out of it. But it's not cured because it can always come back.
So does everybody have a possibility to get depressed?
Yes.
To go into depression?
Yes. Because depression looks differently for everybody.
So everybody has mental health
Yes.
issues.
Yes. You may not want to acknowledge it to be what that is. Or maybe you don't know that it's mental health issues. But everybody has a little bit. Because you can become depressed. You can have anxiety. At this point, everything under the sun is considered mental health. Anxiety, stress, depression. What is there? What else is there? Mental health can take a lot. Emotional management. Maybe even if you have an eating disorder, people coming at you because you can't eat, that's going to mess up with your mental health.
I'm learning a lot.
I know, and this is a great conversation. I like this. Okay, but my last question for you guys, and then we're going to wrap up this episode. What's so funny?
I don't know what he laughing for.
Go ahead.
Anyway, last question before we wrap up this episode. You guys are both gentlemen, and I definitely want to hear this. How do men deal with mental health issues? Because y'all are a man, y'all are supposed to be the head of a household, you're supposed to be the one in a relationship who is strong. And I always see on social media how men are getting not downplayed or even, I'll say laughed at about whenever y'all try to tell your feelings about something. So what are your thoughts on it? How do y'all cope with it? Like, do you go talk to women, or do you go talk to your other homeboys, or you go talk? Like, what do you do to help you get out of mental health? Because we don't talk about this.
I think on certain points, the way that society has written the way that men handle situations such as and show emotion, it has made men, I guess, at a point where we just don't know what to do or how to react to certain things. Because at one point they were saying it was weak for a man to cry.
Correct.
You know, and I'll tell you in a minute, I'm not weak, but I'm also not going to hold back my tears. Because if I'm going to cry, if something really hurts me, I'm going to cry. My aunt passed recently, one of my closest aunts. I cried, and I wasn't afraid of it. We have written so much into what a male is supposed to be. We know we're supposed to be the head. We know we're supposed to be the strong one. But I believe that we can have our moment. I believe because it's going to affect us in the end, and it's going to affect how we treat our family. It's going to affect the relationship we're in because we keep holding it back. I'm being strong, strong, strong. What am I getting? Mm-hmm. When do I have time to release all of that out of me? You know, and it's kind of harder. I don't know about Jared. Every male is different. It's kind of hard for us to talk to other males about certain things. Like, we don't typically talk about our relationships like that with each other. It may be certain things. Yeah, that's my girl, all that stuff, or you know, the other stuff. But we don't really talk about certain situations. And that's all I'm going to say. The end.
The way men would, I'm really trying to hit home with this one, but
Take us home, Jeremy.
What home are you trying to hit?
I'm
Because
trying
you
to hit home.
It's an analogy.
Exactly.
home run.
No.
I feel like the way everybody try to make men feel like their mental health doesn't matter, and some everybody like if a man, y'all, I'm trying to hit home. Y'all messing me up now. Chill. But shh, gosh, like usually society would be like if they see a man crying, oh, be a man, stop being a little girl, or a man trying to pour their issues out. They'll be like, why you acting like a punk? Why you acting like that? Why you so emotional? And then then it makes men try to not even open up about anything anymore.
Right.
Because now we like, if I say this, if I say how I feel, I'm finna be called a punk. Or if I cry, somebody gonna call me a little girl. Somebody gonna tell me to be a man. And I feel like it really just need to be in the forefront with men's mental health because everybody has emotions, and the more you don't let men open up, it's just gonna be all suppressed and all closed up. Cause I have problems, and I'm gonna tell people. I'm not gonna tell people everything, but I'm gonna tell people a good bit of stuff that's going on with me because that's just gonna hurt me more than ever. Because if I don't say anything and I'm going through so much, that's gonna mentally mess me up. And I talk to my bros. I tell them sometimes what's going on, and sometimes they tell me what's going on. And me and my bro, we are very honest to each other. We don't sugarcoat anything with each other. If you did something stupid, we most likely gonna tell you did something stupid.
All right.
And I feel like that's what type of friends you need for all this stuff. Because if somebody they're gonna, like what Monty said, you need people to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear.
I agree with you, Jeremy. And I'm gonna go back to wrap this all up. I'm gonna go back to something that you said. As a woman or as a female, the reason I asked that question is because I was mostly intrigued to hear you guys answer, but also I know when it comes down to men and your your mental health, when women try to ask you how do you feel, it's as if you can't tell us how you actually feel. And like as me, as the woman that I am, I genuinely want to know, like, how do you feel? Like, what's the problem? What's wrong?
I can tell you why.
Okay, go ahead.
Because we've gotten to the point in certain situations, the female will make you feel like, oh, well, you're less of a man. Or they'll use that emotion, or that they'll downplay that as their little go getter.
Now, I understand that. But I'm just saying, what if, like, you have a girl, like, who's been there for you, who've always showed you, like, and whenever you need something, you can always come talk to her. Why won't you go talk to her? So, therefore, and you know she's not going to clown you about it. Like, so what is, like, is it still the aspect of, or the theory of you don't want it to happen, so therefore you're not going to put yourself in the situation to let it happen?
I feel like it really depends on like what they've been through in the past or anything that they really went through. And sometimes, man, I just had this in my head.
All right.
I'm trying to find it.
Take your
It. Y'all go steal my thing now.
So they say
Y'all go steal my thing.
it's the church. Take your time. Take your time. Take your time, son. Take your time.
But also, some men don't tell their girlfriends probably because they don't want their girlfriend to stress about them. Some people do that. They don't want like their girlfriend to stress like, oh, how's he feeling? Oh, I hope he don't do this. I hope he don't do this. It sounds like you disagreeing over that, man.
No, I'm just saying that I think that's natural for a female. I'm not a female, but I'm thinking that's they're nurturers.
But we don't want them to be stressed out too along with it, because then that's going to create a whole new problem. You know what I'm saying? But some people can handle that heat. They can tell their girl how they feel, and the girl can take the heat and hopefully help them out. But in some relationships, they don't say anything because they don't want that stress to be laid on another person.
Female, do you feel like it's woman?
Put some
That's
respect.
That's what Jesus said, woman. Do you feel like it would be stress put on you?
For what?
Like if a male
If a
opens
man
up?
told you all his problems.
Because I have my best friend. He tells me things that bothers him. I'm the type of female who have a lot of male friends. So whenever they are going through something, they will normally, especially when it's about a girl.
And I think it's kind of easier well, I don't know. It goes
depends
both
on your
ways.
friends.
Because
Yeah.
That's a better way to say it.
depends on your
best
friends and what the situation is.
Yeah.
Because you can't tell a female everything, and you won't tell a male, everything.
But also, then again, it goes back to that mental health of yours. So if a male comes tell me something about his problems, that's his problems. That's not my problem. So I'm not going to let that stress me out. Because at the end of the day, that has nothing to do with me. So I think that's how females also got to look at that. Because normally when a male comes tell a female something, a female thinks she got to be all big and bad and go handle the situation. No, let him handle it. He came and told you that out of like honesty and trust and stuff like that, so he can get it off his chest, not for you to carry it on over and to make the problem worse. So, you don't stress me out. I'll be good. Just tell me how you feel.
You're just nosy. You're just nosy. That's all.
Okay, I think we're done. All right. That is it for today's episode on mental health. I enjoyed this topic a lot. We got very deep into things, brought some things up to surface that needed to be talked about. So thank you guys coming back once again to The Lamp is On Talk Show. I am your host, Armani.
Oh, it's my turn. Oh, I'm your host. I'm your host. I'm your host, Jeremy.
And I'm Johnnie. I'm just a guest.
But thank you guys for coming. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you soon.